Hi there. It's almost 8:30, and right here, oh, look at this big boy. Oh my goodness, come here. This is the big Casper boy. This is Casper. Here's coffee. We're having coffee with Casper. 8:29. Here's a good boy. Who's that good doggy boy? Who's that good boy? Well, good morning, everybody. It's 8:30 here in beautiful California. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California, and we're glad you're here with us on Coffee with Casper. There was Casper. He's under my feet. It's a place he loves to be, which is a nice thing, and I like being here with you. You know, very often we greet people and say, "Good morning, beloveds," and you say, "Well, why would I say good morning, beloveds? Some of you don't even know me yet." But the reason is that everyone is born, everyone is chosen to become the butterfly that is really who and what we are, the self of the self. You know, there's an ancient, the Upanishads is the oldest religious text, and it says, "The self shall reveal the self by the self through the self." So we're going to talk a little bit about that because there's a few little stories I'd like to tell you today. One of them you probably know, you probably heard it before. You know, in that little letter I sent out to everybody that said that this is happening, this is awakening or rebirth is the metaphor of the butterfly. And the caterpillar has to give itself totally in surrender to that cocoon. Now we're in a new place here because we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel of this COVID-19 thing. But we're still asked to stay home. We're still asked to be careful with social distancing. We're still asked to be wise about how we're handling ourselves in the physical realm. But I want to tell this a little bit about this caterpillar thing, because the caterpillar, when it decides that it's going to weave itself into that cocoon, it has to give itself totally over, and everything that was the caterpillar has to surrender. And inside the caterpillar, there's something called imaginal cells. So inside the caterpillar is the idea of the butterfly. It was already there. So if we look at ourselves and realize, well, why would I be the beloved of the Most High? Why would I be so special in the creative process? Because we believe, or I believe, that we are created in the image and likeness of the One itself. That this creative power, this source power, is the same source for each and all of us. And that each of us are held entirely as the magnificence of the divine. That we are given those imaginal cells, as it were, to be birthed into the greatness of who and what we are. So that's what's really happening now. Some of us have not even really woken up to the idea that there's something marvelous within us that's waiting to come forth. And sometimes you have to go into that cocoon and really work with yourselves. A lot of people are discovering a lot of time with themselves, and maybe they're discovering that they didn't love themselves or like themselves enough. And this is those imaginal cells, this self of the self that is revealing itself to us, that we need to literally love ourselves. We need to come from the place that I am spiritual magnificence. There's a quote from Ernest Holmes, one of my favorite philosophers. He says, "We were born to have fun living." Can you imagine? You know, Einstein asked that question a long time ago. When he was asked toward the end of his life, what is the most important question? And he pondered a second and he said, well, I guess the most important question is the universe friendly? Is the universe friendly? Well, I believe that each one of us is born into the magnificence of what we could be. We are given the opportunity to discover what we could be. This is sort of the I am, that inner voice. And what's happening to us right now is, particularly in the sense of our fear and doubts about the future. How are we going to recover from this? How am I going to get enough money? What am I going to do to go forward? These are all questions that will be answered, but they'll be answered in a way that is revealing to us, a revelatory way, some way where something emerges within us that tells us what to do, that guides us into what to do. The psalmist says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Well, let's take a look at thy word, and let's make it our word. So my intention, what am I intending to become as I come out of this cocoon? What am I intending to become? And, for me, I would say I'm intending to become more cognizant of the love in my life, more appreciative of every moment that you have, family and friends and connection and love and belonging, appreciative of what it is to actually be with people. It's wonderful that we've had this technology to be able to connect, but to really be with people and enjoy their presence. This is a real opportunity to savor what it is to be alive. And so to really become fully alive. So my intention as I emerge from the cocoon, as I return back into quote unquote normal life is evolving upward. So it's never going to be exactly what it was yesterday. Yesterday ended last night, and today is a new day. So as we come out of this experience, first time, everybody calls it the novel virus. It's like, this is the first time. It's new. We haven't, in 100 years, we haven't dealt with this. We didn't have technology 100 years ago. We didn't have connection. We didn't have a globe that was all connected by means of satellite, and we didn't have a place where knowledge was readily available to everybody. That you can go to the internet and get information, and the internet doesn't ask you who you are, or do you have a right to ask that question. Certainly if you're in a free world, in a free country, then you're able to ask anything you want, and intelligence is there. So we're in a new place. It's not that we're going to go back to what was normal. We're going to go forward. We're going to spiral upward into a new way of appreciating life, a new way of connecting with each other, a new way of doing business. It's going to include some of the old way. It's going to be a hybrid. We're not going backwards in life. Life does not tarry with yesterday. It moves forward. So we're going to go forward into a new life. So just for a moment, take that deep breath. Let's take a deep breath into the belly. And then let that breath into the belly come into your heart. A breath of aliveness. So coming out of the cocoon, what am I going to do? What are going to be my grandiose plans? How am I going to go forward? The answer is this psalmist says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet. So the intention that I'm setting is the word that I'm establishing. This is the direction that I'm going to go. This intention to be alive, awake, aware, in tune, to be paying attention. This intention is going to reveal itself, and it's going to reveal itself just like a sprout would come up out of the ground. It's going to reveal itself one little thing at a time. And what we know is that, so the idea of a lamp under my feet was, before there were flashlights, you had candles, and the candles had a windshield, and they were put on the front of the foot, so that you could take a step and the wind would not blow out the candle, but you could only see just that one step in front of you. Just that one step in front of you, and then you could take another step. So this light under the feet is the way your intuition, this voice of the self within yourself, is going to show you what to do next. It's going to show you how to solve the problem. It's going to show you how to deal with the fear. It's going to show you how to find new paths to wealth. It's going to show you new ways to be creative, new ways to step forward into your life. But it will do it only one thought at a time, one idea at a time. So, well, what do I do after that idea? Well, you have to take that first step. And when you take the first step, then you'll see where to put your foot for the next step. One step at a time. And we're birthing this potential within us, this I am that I am, this glory of God that knows that it can free the Israelites, knows that it can part the seas, knows that it can walk on the water, knows that it can calm the storm, knows that there is a miracle happening, because that which we think was a miracle, once it's understood, is totally natural. So we're in this place where we have to begin to be still, and that's what this cocoon is about. To be still, to trust this imaginal self, this glory of the self that's within you, seeking to wake up into more life, more love, more joy, more wisdom, more peace, more understanding. And we may not have this great vision of where we're going to go, but we know, today I'm going to reach out and call somebody. Today I'm going to record a video. Today I'm going to write something down. Today I'm going to contact somebody I haven't contacted in a long time. Today I'm going to let somebody know how I feel about them, that their life has meaning to me, that their connection with me is important to me. Today I'm going to dig a little deeper into this self of myself, into this I am that I am, and allow it, just like that breath, to come into my heart so that I can be a little more present, a little more alive, a little more awake, a little more aware. I like that line, I'm alive, awake, aware, and joyous and enthusiastic about living. I'm alive, awake, and aware, and joyous and enthusiastic about living. But we can't just say these things, because if we say them, the Shakespeare line is, my words fly up and my thoughts remain below, and words without thoughts will not to heaven go. Meaning, if I just say I'm alive, awake, and aware, and joyous and enthusiastic about living, and I'm not alive, I'm not awake, I'm not aware, I'm not feeling into the statement, then my words don't have any meaning. My affirmation is not going to take me anywhere. So when we say I'm alive, awake, and aware, can you take a look outside, take a look at your environment where you are right now. Is there something beautiful around you? Is there something meaningful around you? Do you see the beauty of that thing? Isn't it amazing that the 5-month-old puppy likes to sit underneath our feet? He's like, just the presence of love is right there. Are you seeing it? Maybe you have a cat, maybe you have a dog, maybe there's a critter that just loves you unconditionally, and are you able to feel into that? Maybe there's somebody sitting with you right now who loves you and appreciates you, and maybe they forgot to say, by the way, I love and appreciate you. Or maybe you were harsh with your roommate or your husband or your spouse or your lover, and maybe you were harsh and you didn't mean to be harsh. And can you remember to say, I didn't mean to be harsh, or I don't like it when I'm crabby? Sometimes just admitting those things will free us up to be alive, awake, aware in a given moment. And then it's our decision. Are we going to be joyous about life? Are we going to be enthusiastic of life? Are we going to step forward into life? So this pathway that's happening to us is a slowing down. It's a slowing down so that maybe we can feel into this divine pattern, this gift of life, the fullness of life that's been given to me in my heart. Maybe we're ready to open to fullness of life in a greater way than we ever have before. Maybe this time in the cocoon, this separation from what we thought was normal, is getting us more in tune with what is a real normal, who we really are, and who we could be, that you could be at peace with yourself, that you could love your life in a new way today. I'm alive, awake, and I'm becoming more aware of what's going on around me, and I'm joyous because I'm choosing to be joyous. I'm alive, awake, aware, joyous, and enthusiastic about living. I am the one making these choices. This is awakening, this choice to be alive, to be of service to others, to be kind, even behind your mask when you go out into the world. And maybe you won't have to wear the mask too much longer, but to be alive, awake, and aware, and joyous and enthusiastic about living. And know that it's going to be good. My greater good is yet to be. The greater yet to be is happening in me and as me and through me. But I have to affirm it. I cannot chase the rabbit hole, the rabbit down the hole where I become afraid and dark and I don't know what's next. You only need to know that one step. Because, you could cross the entire continental United States if all you could see was just one step in front of you, one step at a time. You say, oh, but I wish I could see. I wish I could see it. I do a lot of boating, and there's an island out here in California called Catalina. And from where my boat is, it's about 70 miles to that island. And when you're there, when you're on your way there, you're about 3 hours away from shore, you can't see the shore behind you, and you can't see the island in front of you. But you know the course. You know the island is at this particular heading, and you're going to stay that course. So the course that we're choosing, whether we can see the island or the destination, the choice that we're choosing is to be present right here in this one step where the light is on my foot, where I'm just going to take this action today. I'm just going to take this action today. So we're waking up this glory of God that is the I am that I am, this self of myself. We're waking it up within ourselves. And we're being asked to slow down, to not pick up the Wi-Fi, to not listen to all the media, to slow down and see what's happening and feel what's happening in you and around you, and notice the blessings that are right there, even in this silence. And there's one other little story I'd like to tell you, because everybody's asking, well, what are we going to do, or how are we going to break out? Is everything going to open up again, or are we going to do it in phases? Are we all going to have masks, or are we going to have our temperature checked? Whatever the path is that will reveal itself one step at a time as a light unto our feet, it will happen at the right and perfect time. But I want to tell you this story. When I was 20 years old, I got struck with a disease called Ilio Thrombohlebitis. I had blood clots from my ankle all the way up to my hip. A very dangerous situation for anybody, let alone a young man who had been totally healthy and never had to deal with any of this stuff. And I wanted to get out of the hospital. I knew I had to get home to my dog, whose name was Mose at that time. I knew I had to get home to my dog. I knew I had to be around my family. I knew I could not heal properly in that hospital environment. And so the head doctor, Casper, don't dig in the yard. The head doctor said, well, the swelling is too big in your leg. If the swelling went down, I could let you out of the hospital. Well, I believed, because somebody told me there was something magnificent in me and that it was going to be revealed. It was my original teacher, Dr. Bill Hart. And when he gave me that idea, I slept on that idea. I slept on the idea that there was something wonderful about me that had yet to be. I was only 20 years old. There was something wonderful that was yet to be. And that next day, a healing, a light came upon me. And in that light, when it came upon me, I knew I was going to be well. I knew I was going to be okay. The doctors didn't know it. There was no evidence to support that. But I knew I was going to be okay. And after that happened to me, when the doctor came in, I said, would you measure my leg? Would you measure my leg? And he did. And the swelling had gone down. And I said, well, you told me that if the swelling went down, you'd let me out. And he said, okay, but you're going to have to give yourself a shot every 4 hours because I don't have any other way to administer this blood thinner to you. And so I did that. I went home, and every 4 hours on the clock, I drained the little bottle, and I stabbed myself, and I stabbed myself, and I stabbed myself, and I stabbed myself every 4 hours for weeks. And finally, stabbing myself in my legs and in my arms and in my butt, anywhere I could find to stab myself, the skin was just too tough. I couldn't stab myself anymore. So I called the doctor. I said, I can't stab myself anymore. And he said, well, you've done a good job. And you went further than I thought you could. And you'll be okay. And that was the end of the shots. Well, it's kind of like that with us now. We're being asked to stay at home. We're being asked to govern ourselves. We're being asked for social distance. And we will take it as long as we can. And when we say, I can't do it anymore, and that's going to be different for each of us. It's not going to be the same. We're going to say that moment will come as I need to do something different. I need to break out. I have to find my liberation again. And that will be the time where it will be okay, because you will have done the best you could to do everything you can to help yourself and to help your family and to help your friends and to help the planet get through this deal. And that time is coming soon for each of us. In the meantime, stay with the discipline. Stay with your understanding of how to wash your hands and how to social distance and what's required when you go out in public. Just stay with that understanding until it's time. And in that time, those imaginal cells of you are going to wake up. And you'll be taking one step at a time toward your new and greater and more wonderful life. That's what's possible for each of us. There's one power. That power is perfect. It's the perfect life of the source, and it's my life right now. Breathing it in, there's one power. That power is perfect. That power is the perfect life of the source. And that power is my life right here and right now. That power is your life. Your greater yet to be is emerging now, one step at a time. And that one thought, that one guidance of what to do next is the lamp under your feet. And you will reach your destination, this island of self, this perfect place, this paradise, as a way of living. I honor you. You are the beloved of the Most High. Thanks for joining me and Casper, and thanks for being your light in the world. Bye for now. We'll see you next Tuesday on Coffee with Casper. This Friday at 3 o'clock Pacific Time, AGNT, the Association for Global New Thought, is having an event. We invite you to look for the Association for Global New Thought, AGNT, on Facebook. And at 3 o'clock is a bunch of speakers, including myself, going to share insights and a powerful gathering of souls. I love you, I bless you, and I'll see you next Tuesday on Coffee with Casper. Bye for now.